Thank you for checking out Tea and a Buddy on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
Today we're going to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day with you all.
Yes.
Amidst all this craziness.
Because this is the safest way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
The safest way that we're not even with you, so we can't spread this virus that we all seem to have.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we're laughing, but...
We're laughing. We're trying to laugh about it and, keep spirits up, but yeah, things seem to be getting progressively worse.
It's from bad to worse, yeah, and it's scary, and everybody's scared and freaking out, and or if they're not, they're going the exact opposite way,
and just not caring about it at all, which is even worse, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have to be in the middle. You know, you can't.
Definitely.
You shouldn't overreact.
No, you shouldn't overreact to it. No.
But you also shouldn't be out spreading this to each other, and then,
no going out and, observe the precautions that the government has taken to limit the spread of this.
Which I think a lot, or if not most, if not all, restaurants have limited or no indoor dining now.
No indoor dining, just takeaway food only.
Yeah,
and this is all around the world.
Delivery, just places like that. And a lot of places are closed. Everybody's that is being asked to work from home.
Yeah, work from home like we do.
A lot of schools have been closed until May. And I've heard that in some areas of the country...
This could last all summer.
Well, some areas of the country have apparently just finished school for the year. Kids don't have to go back until next year now. Which is whatever, August, usually.
Till next year. Well, yeah, September, you mean?
Yeah,
not actually next.
No.
Not 2021.
No, next.
Because that would freak people out, that would.
Next school year, but
yeah.
But the thing is a lot of people can't afford daycare.
Can't afford daycare, and also they've got to work. They've got to make money.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's this stimulus package that's being proposed by the government now, where they're going to send $1,000 to everyone, and but we don't know if that's going to happen or not, or if it's just being talked about, or.
I don't know if
it's just a mess.
I don't know if it's countrywide or if it was just in Texas. I can't remember where I've heard it. There's so much information coming at you all the time about this. But there's a moratorium on evicting people from their homes right now, thankfully, because there's going to be people who are not able
Cops guarding loo rolls
to
and
pay
stuff.
their rent. To pay their mortgage, whatever. My sister-in-law went to Sam's Warehouse, which is the Costco version of Walmart, basically.
Yeah, it's like wholesale.
Yeah. And she said she said she turned the corner to go to the toilet paper section, and there was a police officer standing there.
Yeah, guarding it.
She went to another grocery store because Sam's didn't have everything she was needing. She went to another grocery store, and there were police outside only letting a certain number of people into the store at any given time, because there's limitations on how many people can be in an area at a time. They're saying less than 10 people, the president.
Less than 10 people to a group.
Yeah.
No gatherings of 10 people or more. Self-isolate. Social distance, I think they're calling it.
Which is difficult.
Don't leave your house, basically.
Because on a day like today, St. Patrick's Day, it's a very big social holiday in America. People like to get together at bars and clubs and, have celebrations. It's a big drinking holiday in this country. So this
fell on the worst part of the year, the worst time of the year for that kind of thing, for vendors and stuff,
Yeah, so let's sort of shift a little bit away. We'll probably end up talking
more about it.
About coronavirus.
Because there's really been no updates really on what's going on. I mean, they're still trying to work out what's going on. And
well, they're basically just saying stay at home if you can. Don't go out. Don't
do it. Yeah.
Don't touch each other. Don't, social distancing.
Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. But anyway.
Yeah. So let's shift toward St. Patrick's Day.
Yes. Let's get out of the doom and gloom.
And
talk about St. Patrick's Day.
Do you want to tell us what St. Patrick's Day is, just in case there's anybody out there that has no idea?
I think a lot of it's surprising because here in America, St. Patrick's Day is widely celebrated. I mean, because of the large Irish immigrant population that came over in the 18th century. Yeah. And so St. Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland. And this is his day,
So the funny thing is that all the British countries have a patron saint.
Saint, yes.
But we don't know that in America. We only know St. Patrick for some reason.
Yeah, nobody's really heard of St. George.
Which is
the patron saint of England.
Yeah.
St. Andrew is the patron saint of Scotland. And St. David, who happens to have the day on my birthday, who's the patron saint of Wales.
Yeah, so each British country has its own
day.
saint and
day.
and day to celebrate that saint.
I'm actually not sure when St. Andrew or St. George's Day are. But obviously March 17th is St. Patrick's Day and March the 1st is St. David's Day. But yeah, I'm not sure about St. George and St. Andrew.
But there's not as big of...
And they're nowhere near. I mean, in Ireland, for St. Patrick's Day, yeah, there's going to be celebrations in Dublin, but they're kind of, I wouldn't say low-key affairs, but they're more subdued than over here, Yeah. I mean, there might be a parade or whatever, but I don't think it's as big as, say, Chicago or Boston, know?
Right.
Because I think it's that kind of thing of when, it's like an expat thing. You move to another country, you emigrate to another country, and you get with all the other people who've emigrated to that country, in this case America.
From your same country. And you just want to hold on to the tradition and say, oh yeah, St. Patrick's Day, drinking and shamrocks and green. And then, the green, I don't know where that came from, because I don't think it actually came from Ireland. I think it came something that sprung up over here. Well, I think it has to do with shamrocks. I mean, shamrocks are green. And
leprechauns.
Yeah.
You can't get away from leprechauns over here.
The shamrock is apparently something to do with the way St. Patrick
explained the Holy Trinity to the pagans, to Irish pagans,
using the shamrock.
Using the shamrock. So, I remember going to the pub on St. Patrick's Day, my dad would be like, oh, let's go and have a drink for good old St. Patrick,
Yeah.
Even though we were living in Wales, and there was no Irish people around as far as I remember, I don't think there was many.
And even though you just had St. David's Day and did absolutely nothing.
Oh, we probably had a drink for that too. But, you go to the pub, you'd order a Guinness, Guinness would be maybe a little bit cheaper than it normally is,
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is, they get on the pump, and, if the barman was really on the ball, because when I was a barman, I tried to do this as well. You'd pour the pint of Guinness, and then you'd let it rest. You pour it, half of it in the pint glass.
Yeah.
And you'd let it rest until it formed a head. Then you'd continue pouring it, and, it's got a nice little head on it, that white foam head.
Yeah.
And just as you got to the top, you do a shamrock, like a little, an impression of a shamrock. Mm. But I could never do
By
it.
By
moving the glass underneath the tap, and, it's like, there you go, there's your shamrock. It would be impressed into the, foam, by doing some handiwork. But yeah, I could never get the hang of it. But, there were other barmen out there who could do it easily,
Do they do green? green beer?
Nah,
green
that's something that's over here.
Everything is green.
I don't remember it.
I
mean, I'm guessing like green. They do use green to like say this is St. Patrick's Day, Happy St. Patrick's Day, Shamrock Green.
Because are there colors associated with St. Andrew's Day or St.
Blue and white? I guess the flag.
The flag color.
Like red would be St. David's Day, like a dragon.
Ireland has green on their flag, so.
Red and white would be St. George, the cross.
Yeah.
But St. Patrick's, obviously, it's green. The Emerald Isle. And Chicago, they dye the river, don't they?
Yeah.
And everybody turns out to see that, which probably won't be happening today.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they may have dyed the river, but yeah.
But they won't have a big turnout since everybody's been advised to stay at home for their own safety.
If we have any listeners in Chicago, let us know if they did dye the river. We didn't actually, unfortunately, look that up before we started this podcast.
I think they did. I saw something about it. So
yeah. So usually in Chicago they dye the river green. Well, they actually dye it orange apparently. But it just looks green once it reacts with the water, and supposedly it's vegetable dye. But you have a lot of people.
It's orange vegetable dye. Yeah.
A lot of people
and then when it
do
hits
not
the water,
like it because do we really know for certain that that's what it is, and it's not harming the planet and the fish and yeah. And the answer is, I guess, nobody but the people who dye it really know. But surely, hopefully, it is actually just vegetable dye. Yeah. But yeah, that's a huge thing in Chicago. I mean, I've never been to Chicago, but I know about that. So
the tradition of wearing green and being pinched.
Oh yeah.
If you don't, because
you didn't know about that.
I had no idea. No. I mean, the wearing green maybe I kind of knew, but the being pinched if you're not wearing green.
Oh my god, that used to be the most fun thing about going to school. On St. Patrick's Day, you had to remember to wear green, or you were gonna get pinched. And you would try to find.
Don't know where you're gonna get pinched though.
Anywhere, just they just pinch you anywhere on your arm or whatever. But I remember some people, they go, "Oh, well, you don't know my underwear is not green."
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you can't see my underwear, but it's like
you can't see it.
No, you have to wear green where people can see it. And people wear it anywhere. They might wear like a shamrock headband or like just green on their shoelaces or and they go, ha ha, I've got it. The person pinches you and then they go, ha, I've got green, you didn't notice, and then you get to pinch them back.
Yeah. I guess it's because of the leprechauns. The leprechauns are coming.
Yeah.
That's why it was. So the leprechauns can't be seen. So if and they're mischievous, so they'll pinch you.
We're getting this off of a news website.
Yes.
Because I had no idea.
ABC News, WGNO, or whatever.
Because I had no idea where this tradition came from or why. It's just something you learn as a kid and you do it, and it's like something fun to go to school and wearing green, and you pinch your friends and everything. And you try to be sure and wear green head to toe if you can, so that you don't get pinched.
Well, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, according to this website, it has to do with the leprechauns.
It's apparently an American tradition that dates back to the 1700s. Apparently leprechauns can't be seen. They're mischievous, so people pinch you to remind you that if you're not wearing green, you'll get pinched by a leprechaun. I mean...
There's two schools of thought about it, though, right? It says that also.
Yeah.
It's either that or you just getting pinched because
shame on you for not wearing green.
Yeah, you're not remembering Ireland.
And you're not remembering Ireland. Always remember you're Irish.
Yeah. But yeah, that's so funny that you didn't know about the pinching tradition in America.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like...
Do they even wear green on St. Patrick's Day in Brittany? Like, is that a thing?
Oh, I don't remember it being so... I mean, I grew up in an era where pre-1960s, I guess it was more, like, widely celebrated in Britain and London and, England and Scotland and Wales stuff, but when the Troubles started to happen and the IRA came in,
yes,
everybody was just like, nah,
Forget the Irish.
Forget the Irish. Yeah, you know, it was like, we're not celebrating anything to do with Ireland. You know,
that's unfortunate.
And it became kind of like, you know, anyone wearing a shamrock or you're in support of the IRA. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it was just that kind of mentality.
Sense,
and they were
though.
banning Irish people from pubs and stuff, you know, because of the IRA and everything.
Right.
And, you know, it kind of had nothing really to do with the Republic of Ireland, really. It was just...
Yeah.
You know, like, the IRA was something that was born in Northern Ireland, you know.
It's like, you know, anytime somebody of a certain racial group does anything wrong, then everybody wants to go, oh, well, you're of that race, you know.
Yeah.
No matter who they are, you know, you could go as far back as the Japanese during World War II. You know, anybody who was Asian in this country was like, oh, you know, you guys bombed Pearl Harbor or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, which is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
You can't blame you can't blame everyone for things.
With the Good Friday Agreement, though, in 1998, which effectively ended the IRA's the Troubles, as the whole thing was known, as the whole conflict was known. It started to become, you know, like, more and more fashionable to go out and drinking, and, you know, it was fine again, you know, in Britain,
right,
you know.
Right.
When I was a kid, I don't remember going out for St. Patrick's Day. I mean, you know, we had Irish friends and stuff. Actually, we had, one of my dad's best mates was, at the time, is Irish. He's still alive. And we used to go and, you know, go to the pub with him, and it would be fine, you know, and stuff like that, you know, celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Booze everywhere, you know.
It seems like it's gotten bigger over the years. I've never actually been to a St. Patrick's Day, like, celebration or parade or anything like that, but what I've seen on television and on the internet and stuff,
New York
it's almost gotten like a Mardi Gras type thing. Like, everybody wears the beads and the, like, leprechaun hats and, you know, Kiss Me I'm Irish stuff, and you know, like shamrock shaped glasses or sunglasses or whatever, you know. And it seems like a really just good fun time.
I have a friend on Facebook who said he was in New York on St. Patrick's Day 1990, and he said it was like the whole city seems to be involved in this parade. It was like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, but there was this big, you know, Irish parade with, like, bands playing and Irish music, and of course Irish pubs serving traditional Irish food, which is, you know, what's that, you know, really, you know,
corned beef and
hash or cabbage or colcannon or whatever, you know, and of course Irish music performances. And it's just kind of like, you know, I think in today's kind of thing, you talk to any Irish person on the internet, an actual Irish person, they kind of look on celebrations in America as like, they're not really Irish. I don't know why they have to be like that. They've been in America for so long, and they celebrate being Irish. Oh, I'm Irish. Oh, you know. It's just like, no, you're not. You know.
Yeah, I know. I know there is that attitude. I don't think that most Americans realize that there is that attitude in actual
until they go
Ireland,
on the internet,
you know?
and they go on places like Reddit, or they go on places like Quora, where there's actual Irish people deriding them for it.
But I don't know. But I don't understand why. Because it's just like people want to celebrate their heritage. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. And, I mean, and people who are not Irish like to just have a good time, you know.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, because I mean, I'm very not Irish. I'm mostly Scottish, so I should be celebrating St. Andrew's Day, but
the thing that's interesting to me is why, you know, we have immigrants, or we had immigrants over here. I mean, still do, but when immigration to this country was happening in big waves, you know, obviously we were having big waves of Irish immigrants and stuff.
It was from like the famine and stuff. We had English,
we had Welsh, we had Scottish immigrants as well. So why don't we celebrate?
I'm sure they did. St. David's Day, for example, gets celebrated in like There's a few Welsh people who get together, you know, and have a little... But it's not as big as Irish, no, because, I mean, it was just like practically an entire country.
I had never heard of St. David's Day, St. George's Day, or St. Andrew's Day before I met you.
Yeah.
And I've known of St. Patrick's Day my whole life.
St. Patrick's Day, yeah, obviously there was like a big, you know, like obviously the big hot spots.
Yeah.
Were Boston, New York, you know, the Northeast, you know, where they come from Ireland, you know, and they emigrated during the famine.
Yeah.
The Great Famine of Ireland, and, you know,
I
that's...
guess so. Yeah. It has to do with maybe just the fact that the English and Welsh immigrants, let's say, their wave happened a lot earlier.
Happened a lot earlier,
than
yes.
The Irish wave.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
And so maybe the traditions just didn't last in the same way for whatever reason that...
But yeah, the stereotype pervades that they're all cops.
Yeah, I don't know where that goes from.
You know, yeah, because where was it? Yeah, because it was like every old movie you see, like a beat cop, he's an Irishman, you know.
Yeah.
The one that stands... Cop O'Neill or whatever,
the one that stands out in my mind is The Untouchables with Sean Connery.
Well, yeah. He was an Irish
yeah.
beat cop or whatever he was, yeah.
Yeah.
But he never changed his accent.
Which that was based on a true story. I don't know if his character was a real person.
Or if he was just made up, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if he was a real person, he actually was Irish. But yeah, there are a lot of other old films where... The cops are Irish. I don't...
Yeah, well, and like cartoons. I noticed that in cartoons too, you know, it'd be like, he'd come with his like long coat and his like, you know, he was like a New York or a Boston cop and he'd be like, what you doing there? You know, he'd be like talking, what you doing there?
Yeah.
And he'd have like an Irish accent, even though it was kind of like, why would he have an Irish accent living
America.
in Boston, you know? But it's because
maybe he got transferred from Ireland.
My daddy was a cop. My daddy was a cop, and you know, my brother's a cop, and my mother's a cop. You know,
yeah,
family of cops. You know.
But yeah, no, you mentioned New York, and New York is another place, obviously, that has a big
Irish community. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they have a big Irish community.
Well,
but
they used to.
Like, you mentioned the parade from 1990 or whatever, and apparently that parade is a tradition that has been going for like 250 years or something like that.
It's something crazy.
I don't know the exact number, but this morning a big group of people didn't want to let that tradition die.
It was very early in the morning, too.
Yeah, it was like, I think they said 5 o'clock in the morning or so.
And how many people was it?
I don't know. It looked like the video footage looked like a good number of people, and they were not social distancing.
No,
they were shoulder to shoulder carrying.
They were out
at
5 o'clock in the morning with their banners,
and
it's just like, well, no one's there.
I appreciate they were doing it early, so you know maybe people wouldn't want to show up and put people at risk. But there was a large group of them.
Large group of them, yeah.
It's just like I know. Okay, we don't want to like have a break in the tradition that's been going for hundreds of years, you know, but maybe we should like do some common sense and just like let it go this one time.
Well, the whole point of a parade is so others can watch it.
Yeah.
There's no one there watching. There was no one there watching it. Someone filmed it.
What they do is they go
but it's like,
up Fifth Avenue, apparently. Yeah, they parade up Fifth Avenue. So... Yeah, I mean, I would think that the whole
maybe they
point
raised a lot of money for it, and they were like, "We've got to spend this money."
I don't know. It looked like it was just people carrying a banner. Like I
just caught the tail end of it. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't televise the whole thing. It was just a clip talking about, oh, look at these people. They shouldn't be doing this.
How dare they in this coronavirus world?
Well, you know, New York is a kind of a hard hit city at the moment because there's so many people
in a kind of confined space.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you know, just have some common sense, guys. Don't get in groups. You know, I know today is St. Patrick's Day, and you want to celebrate,
get drunk,
have parties and stuff, but there's plenty of time for all of that and other holidays, you know, Yeah.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents, anyway.
Just my opinion, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if there's any other celebrations that we need to really mention. I mean, you kind of touched on the big ones, or Chicago, New York. Oh my gosh, San Francisco apparently has a big celebration.
More than 100,000 people.
San Francisco's on lockdown, you guys, in case you haven't heard.
They can't go out.
Yeah. So, apparently it's like a voluntary lockdown. It's not, there's not police patrolling the streets and stuff. But apparently they are giving out tickets if you're caught out too many times, or if you're seen as being, if you're seen as being up to no good.
That's around here?
No, in San Francisco.
It's like a curfew. Yeah, there's a curfew. Area. Yeah.
Yeah, my sister-in-law's father lives in Oakland, I think. So they're like, oh yeah, they're giving out tickets if you're caught being outside.
If you're up to no good
all the time, and being like up to no good. But yeah, I did not realize at all that they had a big celebration in San Francisco. You assume that these big celebrations are where they have large Irish communities, and you don't automatically think of San Francisco as being one of those places.
Well, no,
I don't anyway.
Well,
no. You think of Boston, New England.
Well, it's just major cities. They just emigrated, and they didn't like New York or Boston or anything. We'll just go, we'll go west. Go west, young man, go west.
Yeah. I mean, the older cities, Savannah, Georgia is also on the list. And so that makes sense because it's the Deep South, it's an original colony. So it's just like, Boston, New York.
Oh, Boston, I think that's the number 1, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Chicago's the number 1, actually. Funnily enough, yeah. Boston's got a big population, though, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Nearly a quarter of all Boston residents claim Irish ancestry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting, yeah.
And you might even run into Irish Elvis Presley impersonators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each of these cities boasts, an Irish pub that's like the most popular Irish pub in the city, just to finish the thought. No, when you came here, we were looking for a pub for some reason. I can't remember what. Oh, we wanted my mom to try, because you are really big into cider rather than beer.
Cider.
Yeah, and I had never had cider before I went to Britain. It's since, this shows how many years ago it was now. It's since become
time ago.
It's since become quite popular in America.
Yeah, it has. In the time I've been here, it's kind of like it's risen in popularity.
But at the time, it wasn't. So we were trying to find.
Everybody was like, "What, you talking about apple cider? They're talking about the apple juice."
Yeah. So we were trying to find a pub because we thought, more chance of them having cider on tap.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I remember that.
And so Dominic and I were driving around, and all we have in Austin, pub-wise, with pub in the name, let's say, are Irish pubs.
Yes, well, I mean, that's what it is.
And
you find that in Spain, too.
It's pretty much that way around America. You don't really find anywhere that boasts being an English pub.
Some of them do a British pub. It's the British pub,
It's a British pub, but that is all encompassing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all encompassing of Scotland, England, and Wales. Yeah, it's not an English pub. It's a British pub.
Yeah, and they specialize in like
bangers and mash and all that kind of stuff.
Well, a lot of like you said, corned beef and
corn.
Hash
yeah.
Stuff like that, which is
well in Irish pubs, yeah.
No, even in the British pubs,
they're more
they're more Irish centric, really.
Yeah.
I feel anyway.
Corned beef and cabbage.
But yeah, it's funny. It's just nothing really to do with St. Patrick's Day, but just most of the pubs in America I find to be Irish pubs.
That's what it was called. Yeah. I mean, I think it's gone now because I think it closed. In Austin, so yeah, we can find it again. I just wanted to get some cider. I haven't had a pint of cider, mate.
But yeah, so let us know if you can think of any other St. Patrick's Day traditions, if you have any memories of St. Patrick's Day from when you were growing up, or anything that you've ever done special for St. Patrick's Day. If we have any Irish listeners, which I'm not sure if we do or not.
We might do. There might be a couple of you
Let us know what St. Patrick's Day is like in Ireland, because we may have gotten it totally wrong. Maybe it's just absolutely huge in Ireland, and, you know, Dominic's never been to Ireland either, so we're not 100%
I was only,
certain.
You know, not even 100 miles away from living from Ireland, so and I never went across the sea.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So, let us know of whether you celebrate St. Patrick's Day or anything like that. Let us know, too, separate from St. Patrick's Day, what you guys are doing to stay sane during this corona. Are
you staying sane during the coronavirus epidemic, pandemic, epidemic, whatever it is?
Yeah.
We, it's now a World Health Organization pandemic.
Because the thing, we have not here in Austin been told. We've been told to stay home.
Europe is the epicenter of it now because of Italy and.
Oh, really?
Everything it's the epicenter now. China's no longer the epicenter.
Yeah, they've got it kind of under control. Well, according to them.
According to them. We don't know.
We mentioned last time about our relative that we have that is from China, and how she feels like the Chinese media doesn't really tell the truth a lot of the time. So, you kind of take everything they say with a grain of salt. But one of the things that we like to do is go on walks. And so far, we believe that we are still able to do that.
We're still able to do that in Austin.
Yeah, as long as
they haven't said, okay, we're imposing a curfew and no one's allowed to be out. They haven't done that in Texas yet. I think Texas will be the last state to try and do that anyway.
They want us to stay home. But in my opinion...
The general advice is to stay home.
Yeah.
Don't socialize. Don't do things.
Right. But I think, if you're going out and you're walking and you're keeping your immune system up by being healthy and getting some exercise and some fresh air, I would think that would be good for you, as long as you're not taking kids to a park where they can touch playground equipment and stuff like that, or gathering, having big group picnics or something like that, or maybe even playing sports probably is not great.
A lot of sports stuff has been cancelled.
But just going on a walk through your neighborhood, or on a hiking trail or something like that, as long as you're not around loads of people, I would think that should be okay.
Yeah.
Don't trust what we're saying though, because obviously
we're not experts on this, despite us proclaiming that we are experts on this. We actually aren't experts on this, but yes.
Anyway, maybe you can catch up on our podcasts if you have some time and not a lot else to do. Or maybe just
join the discussion in our Facebook group.
Yeah.
Let's generate some discussion over this, because I don't think anybody's talking about this virus. Do you think? It's been kept on the down low. Nobody really knows about it.
People do want to talk to each other. It makes you feel better to talk and to get
all that social distancing nonsense. You're on social media. It's just basically physical distancing.
Physical distancing, yeah. Yes, physical distancing. Yeah. But you can join our Facebook group. You can connect with us on Instagram. We like to do stories on there. We haven't done a lot of stories recently because we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But we just talk to us.
Talk to us.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's going to do it for today.
Mm-hmm.
You guys stay safe. Stay healthy, wash your hands, and we'll talk to you next time.
And never give up, never surrender.
Keep calm and carry on.
Yes.
Bye.
Goodbye.